The humble forklift. You know, it's that workhorse you see everywhere, right? Warehouses, construction sites, just quietly doing its job. You might just think of it as, well, functional, a constant industry for, gosh, over 100 years. But what if we told you this machine is actually evolving, like really fast, and it's right at the heart of some massive shifts in global commerce? Yeah, its story is definitely not over. It's maybe just getting interesting now. So let's unpack this. For this deep dive, we're going to cut through the noise, look at the really surprising trends shaping where the forklift is going. Our mission: pull out the key stuff from the top 6 trends driving forklift use by Angus Lift Trucks. We want to get how these machines are adapting and, maybe more importantly, how they're driving the future of logistics and maybe beyond.
Okay, so first up, infrastructure. Seems basic, but it's huge. We're seeing governments everywhere, especially in, growing economies, pouring tons of money into new roads, buildings, industrial stuff, all that building, all that development. It means moving a lot of heavy things, and what do you absolutely need for that?
Forklifts, you got it.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating here is the scale we're talking about. It's not just moving pallets in a warehouse. Think about managing enormous precast concrete sections for a bridge.
Yeah.
Or massive steel beams for a new skyscraper. That kind of work. It drives a huge demand for the really heavy-duty models, the big boys.
Okay, that makes sense. More building bigger forklifts. But here's something that kind of bends my brain a bit. You're saying forklifts aren't just using the new infrastructure. They're actually creating demand for new infrastructure themselves. How does that work?
Exactly. It's a bit of a loop.
Yeah.
So as companies shift towards electric forklifts, and we'll definitely dig into that more, they suddenly find they need serious upgrades to their electrical grids. Think about it. Installing charging stations. One electric forklift might need, say, 10 to 30 amps.
Wow, per truck.
Per truck. Now multiply that across a fleet. That's like adding multiple industrial appliances running constantly. It's a substantial load on the existing setup. And then you need backup power. Robust backup power, not just for the office servers anymore, but to keep these essential machines charged and running if the power dips.
Right, you can't have your logistics grind to a halt.
Precisely. So it really raises a big question for businesses. Are they actually ready for the energy hit of going fully electric? Or is that a hidden cost they haven't factored in?
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
Okay, so foundational infrastructure drives demand, but then there's this other massive wave. E-commerce, I mean, you've probably felt it yourself, right? We're all ordering more stuff. We want it yesterday. This global demand is putting just immense pressure on warehousing, on distribution. And that means
More forklifts. A lot more forklifts.
Yeah.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, the numbers are just staggering. Forrester, for instance, they predict the B2B e-commerce market alone will hit something like $2.3 trillion.
trillion. Wow.
Yeah, by 2024. That's not just, a little uptick. It's a fundamental change in how business gets done. And warehouses, distribution centers, they're scrambling. They need more space, sure, but they also desperately need the right equipment to handle the volume and, crucially, the speed.
Okay, so this need for speed, for efficiency, how does that change the types of forklifts we're seeing more of?
Well, it means a big surge in demand for specialized gear, stuff tailored for modern, often very dense warehouses. So you're looking at things like narrow aisle forklifts, the ones that can zip around to really tight spaces, pallet stackers. Counterbalance forklifts are still key, of course. These machines are vital for navigating those, tightly packed layouts and getting up high to reach inventory, stacked way up. And they need to perform. Really high performance standards are needed to keep up with that relentless pace of e-commerce.
Makes sense.
And sort of a side effect of all this growth, there's this massive urgent need to train new operators faster than ever before just to keep the machines running.
All right, the human element too. Okay, so we have volume, we have specific types, but there's also a huge shift in how they're powered. You mentioned electric earlier. The demand for sustainable energy, specifically electric forklifts, it's really taking off, isn't it?
Absolutely skyrocketing. And it's not just about being green, though that's important. Electric models just offer some really compelling advantages operationally. They're cheaper to run, much quieter, which is a huge plus in a busy warehouse, believe me.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They're safer, cleaner, obviously, easier to operate, zero emissions right there on the warehouse floor. But here's the real kicker, I think. Technology has advanced so much that the old trade-offs, they're kind of gone. It used to be maybe you sacrifice some power for electric, not anymore. Modern electrics can do the same work as the gas ones, and honestly, often with better results. Smoother acceleration, more precise control.
So the performance gap is closed, maybe even reversed.
In many cases, yes, which really changes the whole calculation for businesses. Going green isn't just good PR, it's becoming economically smart.
And are there other things pushing this, like governments getting involved?
Definitely. You see local governments especially pushing industries towards these cleaner, eco-friendly technologies.
Yeah.
That gives the all-electric market a real boost. All the forecasts show this is the fastest growing segment, period. Like I said, the AC motors mean faster acceleration. Some of the newest counterbalanced electrics can actually outperform internal combustion engines on certain metrics. It just makes you wonder how quickly the whole industry will flip, especially with those infrastructure hurdles we talked about.
Yeah, it's a race between the tech and the support systems. And within electric itself, there's another layer, right? The batteries.
Indeed. Big changes there, too. Lithium-ion batteries, basically the same tech you find in Teslas and other EVs. They're really gaining ground on the old lead-acid batteries.
Why is that?
A couple of key reasons. Much quicker charging times is a big one. You can do opportunity charging, like charge it up during a lunch break, which you couldn't really do effectively with lead-acid.
Ah, okay. Less downtime.
Exactly. Less downtime. And they're lighter, which, might seem small, but it reduces wear and tear, potentially improves handling and efficiency, just better tech overall.
Okay, so electric power is a massive shift. But then, the next leap sounds almost sci-fi. Autonomy. Forklifts driving themselves, especially with AI getting integrated into logistics, that feels like a whole different world.
It really is a fundamental shift. What's truly transformative here is, well, these autonomous forklifts offer real-time responsiveness. They move goods efficiently, consistently. And crucially, they free up human workers for tasks that require more complex problem-solving or creativity or, tasks that machines just can't do yet.
So it's not just about replacing drivers, but reallocating human skills.
Precisely. They technically replace some aspects of that physical movement workforce, yes, but it allows companies to shift those human resources towards potentially higher value activities, boosting overall productivity, maybe even innovation. It's more job transformation than just elimination.
Interesting way to put it. So who's really driving this push for automation in forklifts? Where's the demand coming from?
Seems to be two main drivers. First, you've got that rapid infrastructure growth in developing countries we mentioned. They need efficient ways to handle materials, but maybe don't want or can't easily staff every single machine 24/7.
Yeah.
Automation looks attractive there.
Okay.
And second, in developed countries, it's the end-use industries themselves. Logistics, transportation, manufacturing.
Yeah.
They're constantly looking for ways to boost operational efficiency dramatically. Autonomous forklifts, they offer that. They can run around the clock, no breaks needed. They tend to be more predictable, less prone to accidental damage, and they basically solve staffing challenges for those repetitive movement tasks.
Makes sense from an efficiency standpoint. But what kind of tech do these things actually need? It can't just be GPS, right?
Oh, far more complex. You need sophisticated computer
Yeah.
chips, obviously. Advanced sensors are critical, things like LiDAR, radar, high-res cameras so the forklift can see and understand its environment in detail. And then, crucially, there's the software. Really advanced software that has to integrate seamlessly with existing systems. We're talking telematics, the systems that track vehicle data and warehouse management systems, the WMS. This software isn't just about telling the forklift where to go. It's constantly feeding data back, alerting managers to potential issues, maybe needed maintenance, ensuring it all works together smoothly. It's about being connected.
Okay, that's a lot of tech. And it's not just happening in, say, the US or Europe, right? You mentioned the global map is shifting, China, other parts of Asia. They're seeing huge growth, too.
Absolutely. The demand picture is definitely globalizing. E-commerce and retail are huge drivers across China and other Asian markets, and even parts of Europe are seeing strong growth. Take India, for example. That market alone is projected to grow at something like a 13% compound annual growth rate, CGR, through 2027.
13% a year, that's massive growth. It's huge. And you hear about potential investments in their logistics sector reaching, what was it, GBP 360 billion by 2025. Just gives you a sense of the scale of development and the need for material handling over there.
So is it both things driving it there, like massive factories needing forklifts and tons of consumer goods needing to be moved for e-commerce?
Exactly. You've got China's enormous manufacturing base, which needs forklifts for its own internal logistics, plus all the parts and supplies to support their own forklift manufacturing industry, which is also significant. Traditionally, they might have used more Class 3, like electric pallet jacks, and Class V trucks, the heavier internal combustion ones. But as they modernize and embrace automation and electric, you're seeing a growing need there too for the smaller, more agile electric lift trucks, adapting to new warehouse designs.
Okay.
And yeah, it's not just Asia. Europe's demand is expanding too, especially, again, for those electric models.
Fascinating. Okay, our final trend. This one feels like it ties everything together. Big data. Coming to the forklift industry, that sounds futuristic. It kind of is, but it's happening now. If you connect this to the bigger picture, data analytics is giving warehouse managers, manufacturing teams, just incredible levels of oversight. They can track exactly how forklifts are being used, identify patterns, spot bottlenecks you wouldn't otherwise see, find new ways to squeeze out more efficiency.
Okay, like optimizing routes?
Optimizing routes, understanding utilization rates, but also predictive maintenance. That's a game changer. Instead of waiting for a forklift to break down, which costs time and money, the data can predict potential failures before they happen. You schedule maintenance proactively. Huge savings on repairs. Massive reduction in downtime.
Wow, okay. So what tech actually makes this possible? How do you get data from a forklift?
So we're talking about the Internet of Things IoT, where machines are connected and share data. Telematics systems, which we mentioned, are key for collecting and transmitting that operational data. And you're hearing the term smart forklifts more and more. These aren't just dumb machines anymore. They're nodes in a network. All this tech paves the way for truly connected warehouses, real-time tracking of everything, which, boosts safety, where every machine and maybe even operator is. It optimizes operations, like we said,
Right.
and ultimately it cuts costs. It's really shifting from just lifting stuff to intelligently managing the entire flow of materials.
And when you combine that level of data and connectivity with the autonomous trend, forklifts driving themselves, talking to the warehouse system, talking to each other, that's where it gets really mind-blowing, right?
That's exactly where it becomes truly transformative, a complete ecosystem. These technologies, especially autonomia, paired with deep data integration, they lead to these futuristic forklifts, things that honestly would have seemed like pure science fiction just a couple of decades back. It's really not just about lifting anymore. It's about intelligent, self-optimizing systems, machines that can communicate, learn, adapt on the fly. It completely redefines what a forklift is and what it does.
Okay, so let's recap this deep dive then. The future of the forklift. It's not just about brute strength anymore. It's fundamentally about, wow, sustainability, electric power, lithium ion, incredible automation driven by AI, the power of big data making everything smarter, and all this is happening against a backdrop of just surging global demand, especially in places like Asia. It's, yeah, a far cry from the old workhorse image.
It really signifies a complete evolution. It's a challenge, definitely, for the manufacturers who have to keep innovating, building in all this tech, but it's also a huge shift for the end users. The businesses using the forklifts. They have to adapt their own infrastructure, right? Power grids, software integration, maybe even retraining their workforce. It touches everything.
It's so clear the industry is anything but static. These machines are getting smarter, cleaner, way more efficient, and they're really reshaping our supply chains, maybe even the nature of work itself in these industries. Amazing stuff.
Absolutely. And as these intelligent machines get more autonomous, more integrated into these vast data networks, well, it's bound to change the skills needs, the roles people play in these industries. So maybe something to think about as you picture these, futuristic forklifts gliding silently around a warehouse or a construction site. Consider this. How will businesses prepare for a world where even these traditional physical tasks are being totally redefined by tech?
Yeah.
And what new opportunities might actually pop up because of all this innovation we've been diving into?